Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on? So, patch day once again. Patch 9.5 is with us. So, before we jump in, apologies if you happen to hear any odd noises in the background. Lovely sunny afternoon today, and people are out with lawnmowers and such like, so it is what it is. Hopefully we won't get too much noise, but there we go. So, last point of Wild Appalachia this week. At least the last of the big updates with it. There might be a couple of other little things that might technically come under the heading coming up, but we'll have to see. And nuclear winter just around the corner, so let's have a look at what is reasonably a small patch, though not really all that surprising, I suppose, given it's 9.5 as opposed to 9 or 10, but let's jump in, take a look. Patch 9.5 introduces Project Paradise event and includes a number of bug fixes. Patch version there, all very not interesting. Quite big on the consoles, 5.5 gig and less than a gig on PC. Interesting to see how that works. But, Wild Appalachia, Project Paradise event. Sink your teeth into some experimental testing by joining the Project Paradise event, which takes place in the cavernous biome labs that are now available for exploration underneath Arktos Pharma. Be very, very cool. I know Bethesda themselves are very, very keen on this particular location, so I'm looking forward to seeing what's got them so hyped. Be interesting to find out, hopefully tomorrow night. Start Project Paradise, head to the Arktos Pharma building in the forest region of Appalachia. Enter the building's lobby. Not quite sure which bit that is, presumably a bit with the reception desks. A couple of ways in. And use the elevator to descend to the labs. Product research has never been so wild. Aid Arktos Pharma with their experiments on the Appalachian creatures that inhabit the labs, and you'll be rewarded with new loot and XP. All 3 biome labs will require your attention if you'd like to claim the best rewards, so most adventurers will find it beneficial to form a group. That's interesting. Note, this event will be daunting for dwellers who are fresh from the vault, as you will encounter enemies who are level 50+. So, definitely an interesting point. Going to be reasonably high level, so relatively an end-game type of event. 3 biome labs running at once, and you have to presumably complete the objectives for all of them to get the highest tier of rewards. So, groups probably the way to go, at least a group of 3 anyway, so I might have to see if I can rustle a few people up tomorrow night, just when I'm planning to stream this and take a good look at it. But yeah, it's cool to have some big high-end content. I don't imagine it will be impossible to tackle on your own, but there's this last effort at doing something that was for level 50+ players. Needless to say, it ended up being rather easy for most of us. So we'll have to see how this actually goes, but I do imagine being in 3 places at once will be a challenge for anybody. From what I've seen of the photos and the teasers that Bethesda have shown us, and clips from the trailer for Wild Appalachia as well, this will contain, amongst other things, Deathclaws and Myloke Queens, so there should be a challenge in there, shouldn't be too much of a pushover. Quite cool. So, a new change to player vending machines that I'm really happy to see. It was something I've been asking for. Which is, the inspect option can now be used to view additional details about items in other players' vending machines, making it easier to find the perfect legendary for your collection. Yep, Bethesda acknowledging that selling of legendaries is clearly going to continue to be, rather, I think, a big thing. It's definitely been a bugbear of mine that you can only really see the first legendary, maybe the second legendary effect on a multi-starred legendary item. Now you can just pull it up and actually see all the details, which is very, very cool. Hopefully that applies for a few other things. Still want to see them giving us more information about what individual plans do, or what the items contained within a plan do for when you're buying them to craft things. Unfortunately, that's not currently a feature and is definitely one that would be welcome, I think. It would make life a lot easier when it comes to choosing whether or not you've got the right plan, or whether or not you're looking at the right plan anyway. So, straight on to bug fixes at this point, which is interesting. Not huge amounts of content, but it's the last major beat for this particular set of updates prior to nuclear winter, which they are teasing, incidentally. We've come across the mysterious boxes, or the body of the Vault 51 Overseer, which can be found in game now, something they didn't tell us about. We wander along with the Morgantown airport changes. The video somewhere above my head here. The teasing things and getting things set up for the next set of updates, which is really, really cool. Very much looking forward to that. Not going to dive into that too much myself, I don't think, but if you want to find those teasers, you can either do so yourselves or have a look around. There's a few YouTubers covering it. So, let's have a look at these bug fixes. Camps, crafting and workshops. Scrapping. Fixed an issue that could cause an unintended item to be scrapped when rapidly scrapping items. I'd like to see a bit more detail on exactly what they mean here. I've noticed that can be a problem, and I'd hope that will include things like not being able to scrap items that you've bulked down when you use scrap all. It's a change I'd definitely like to see, because once you bulk stuff together, you want it to scrap it as you're building, for example, or using the materials, not when you just happen to have them in your inventory. But there's nothing to mention whether or not that's actually the case here, just generally giving you a bit more control, I think, when you're rapidly scrapping things, which is definitely a welcome change. Vending. Fixed a rare issue that could prevent a player from purchasing items from another player's vending machine. Cool. And reaching the maximum camp budget no longer prevents a player from assigning items to their vending machine. I knew filling your stash up would prevent you from assigning items that are in your inventory, but didn't realise camp budget could have an effect, although now that I'm saying it, I may have heard something about this. So definitely a good fix either way. Challenges. Weekly. Fixed an issue in which survival mode weekly challenges could be completed in adventure mode. Boo. Not happy about that one. Personally, I mean, at the end of the day, the rewards are nothing more than digital items in a video game, so let's not go too crazy, but honestly, I've felt since they first started putting the survival mode challenges in and rewarding you with legendary items that they should either be available in adventure mode 2, or adventure mode should have its own set of challenges with its own set of rewards. Because not doing so, basically, as much as it rewards players for playing survival mode, it penalises people for not playing survival mode. So those of us who don't want to do that, like me, basically being punished for it, and that's not a cool move, in my opinion. Like I say, hardly the end of the world, but not my favourite decision I've ever made, I have to admit. But, there we go. So a few other fixes to challenges, particularly around the Pioneer Scouts quest line. Taking a picture of the frog with a Pro Snap Deluxe now correctly counts towards the herpetologist. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but anyway. World challenge progress, which is good. That one's had a number of problems that I've heard about. Same thing with building a frog habitat, now correctly counts towards it. Was listed that wasn't getting ticked off when you did it, so definitely a positive change. And they've also updated the wording on several of the Tadpole Badge World challenges to help clarify the objective. Items. Fixed an issue with some apparel items incorrectly providing +1 damage resistance when equipped. I can see why. Some of the clothing items and outfits and stuff probably shouldn't provide any protection. I'm thinking like t-shirt and slacks, that sort of thing. On the flip side, if you're wearing the leather jacket and jeans, or possibly the Brotherhood of Steel outfits or something like that, I could see those providing a small amount of damage protection, particularly in specific circumstances. So hopefully it's just a logical change rather than across the board. I don't really think +1 singular damage resistance is that much of a big deal, to be honest. I'm not quite sure why they've prioritised that, but okay, whatever. Here's another one I'm a little sad about. Floor decor change. Cat and Deathclaw topiaries, that's the carved box hedge things, can no longer be built if they've not yet been unlocked in the atomic shop. So I'm hoping that means they're in there and they're free, because to suddenly take them away and slap a price on them after this, admittedly bug, but to change it after the fact and then put a price on it would be a questionable choice in my opinion. Now it's only a couple of items, and they are kind of cool. I'd be a little sad to lose those. I realise it was not the intention, but the intention been, inadvertently circumvented. I think maybe they should just bite the bullet and go with that over a couple of items. I'll have to actually see it to form a fully informed opinion on the subject. I haven't done yet, so. Exploit. Addressed an exploit that could cause high-capacity backpack mod to become duplicated. Yeah, that would be an exploit that definitely needs fixing. We've had previous problems with people, exploits to massively increase the carry weight, and if that's the way this works, I'm happy to see that changing. Carry weight is a functional game mechanic, it exists for a reason, so good to see exploits getting removed there, both in general and specifically. Performance and stability, always welcome changes. Suggest a rare issue that could prevent players loading into a world after using a vending machine. That's weird, but yeah, okay, good. And fix an issue that could cause PC game client to crash. Not had too many issues with that myself, but immediately after patch 9, prior to their little maintenance session, there were a few stability issues. They balanced a few of those out over the intervening time, but yeah, it seems to be a thing when a lot of games, actually, to be fair, not just Fallout deploy patches, that tends to knock server stability a bit, which is an unfortunate thing, but good to see they're continually working on upgrading that, something we're all very, very happy to see. And last couple, quests and events. Address an exploit that could allow players to earn rewards from athletics and swimming tests multiple times. Yep, okay, cool. Also, if you haven't done those, they're quite easy and good fun. Go for the Mile Queen. So yeah, you should run off and do those, because they're, like I say, they're quite easy. A couple of free badges for it, and they're daft fun. So yeah, I enjoyed doing those ones. Miscellaneous. The objective to investigate seismic activity obtained from the personal terminal now correctly completes upon reaching the purveyor's shop. If you haven't already checked it out, yep, added the end of last week. The purveyor is now in the game, so you can go and trade in your legendary items for legendary script and buy new ones. Still a random roll, which is, I didn't get much luck with it, I have to admit. But you know, there's a reasonable system that you can take advantage of there as well, so it's not so bad. If you haven't already seen it, check out the previous video on the subject. I'll link to the playlist so you can have a look at anything you're particularly interested in. Be above my head as well. Miscellaneous. Fix an issue that could cause an error message to appear after selecting Biv's entry in the personal terminal's daily planner. Okay. And Pioneer Scouts, completing Stings and Things, Operation Tidy, and Campfire Tales will no longer reward Possum badges to players who've not yet been promoted to the Possum rank. The Possum is the second higher of the two ranks within the Pioneer Scouts questline. It's what you're working towards along the way of getting your first backpack. And if those are awarding badges to players who are not yet at that rank, that's obviously not the way it's intended to work. Would allow you to get a bit of a head start previously, so we'll check to see if I've got any, but it's possible they might have removed the badges you got when erroneously through this particular bug. But yeah, not a major change, just means it's happening at the right stage and right pacing, which is fine. So yeah, relatively small patch to wrap up Wild Appalachia. Hopefully Project Paradise will be quite cool, looking forward to seeing that tomorrow. A couple of good bug fixes in there, a couple of them that I'm not fantastically keen on, shall we say. But there we go, it is what it is. Yeah, do keep an eye out for upcoming news and features, because, as we say, Bethesda have now started teasing the next set of expansions, DLC, content, whatever we want to call it. To be honest, I don't know what to call it. So, Nuclear Winter is on the horizon, and there's some cool stuff coming on that front. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going on there. We do know we're getting a new game mode, and it'd be cool to see what other bits and pieces they've got lined up for us over the next 3 months, so very excited for that. Also, brand new series started on the channel yesterday. That's had a roaring start, actually. I'm really, really pleased with that, so thank you to everybody who's already watched that. If you haven't, I'll throw a link up to that. Taking a look at other players' camps that we can see now that player vending is in the game, which is very, very cool. So do take a look at that one as well. And watch this space for another bit of big news that should be coming later on in the week as well, which I'm very, very excited for. For now, I do hope you found this useful and informative. Thank you very much for watching. Social media links should be popping up around about now. You can find them down in the description as well. Do stop by and catch up on one of the live streams, which will be streaming tomorrow night and probably through the week as well. Not too sure about Thursday at the current juncture, but we'll see. And I'm definitely going to play a bit of Rage 2 as well during the week, because that game is sick. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys very, very soon.